So you're a man in your 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s. You've seen the world. You've earned your scars. You've built something from the ground up, maybe a career, a family, or just a solid sense of who you are. And then, out of nowhere, a younger woman enters the picture. She's vibrant, magnetic, a little chaotic, maybe, but there's something about her energy that lights something up in you. She gives you more than a glance. Real attention. It feels fresh. It feels good. It feels like you're 20 again. But here's where the danger creeps in. In that sudden rush of being seen again, a lot of men start bending without realizing it. They shift. They chase. They soften. And in doing so, they lose the one thing that made them attractive in the first place: grounded, masculine presence. This video isn't about age gaps or dating advice. It's about power, inner power. It's about how to remain steady, dignified, and strong in situations where most men quietly fall apart. If you've ever found yourself attracted to a younger woman and felt confused about how to show up without selling out, pay close attention. We're about to break down 5 things Stoic men do differently, not to control, not to manipulate, but to remain true to themselves in a world that rewards performance over presence. Number 1. You're not her peers. Stop acting like it. The moment you try to match her pace, speak her language, or immerse yourself in her world like a peer, you surrender something quietly powerful. You give up the very thing that made her curious about you in the first place. Older men sometimes forget this. They look at youth like it's currency they've lost, instead of wisdom they've gained. They confuse connection with imitation, thinking that to be accepted, they have to become familiar. But the truth is, real attraction isn't born from sameness. It's born from difference, from contrast, from polarity that you've lived through storms she hasn't even seen on the forecast. You've faced failures, responsibilities, heartbreaks that carved you into a quieter man, a deeper man. She might have beauty, spontaneity, energy, but you, if you're grounded, carry something heavier, a sense of direction, a spine made of principles, a rhythm that doesn't change with the room. That's what makes you magnetic, not some attempt to be trendy or speak in memes. When you lower your voice to match her tone, when you laugh too hard at jokes you don't find funny, when you pretend to care about things that don't touch your soul, you betray your own masculine depth. She might smile, she might call you cool, but she won't feel that pull, because that pull comes from knowing you're not afraid to be different. You're not scrambling for her approval. You're walking your own path, and she's welcome to join if she chooses. There's a kind of presence that doesn't ask for attention. It commands it, not through noise, but through stillness. When a younger woman finds herself in the orbit of that energy, she can feel the shift. It slows her down. It makes her think, not because you said something profound, but because you didn't flinch. You didn't chase. You stayed anchored. And in a world that constantly moves too fast, a man who doesn't rush is rare. And rare is valuable. Let her talk in circles. Let her chase dopamine. You watch. You listen. You respond, but you don't react. That's the difference. You're not there to keep up. You're there to keep your center. She may be chaos, but you're the one thing that doesn't move when everything else does. Not her mirror, not her echo. You're the edge that sharpens her storm. Number 2, don't absorb her emotional storms. Stay steady. There will come a moment when a woman brings you her storm. Not the gentle kind that waters the ground, but the kind that whips through your peace, testing the roots of who you are. She may be crying, venting, spinning in circles about her past, her pain, her mother, her fears about the future. And you, as a man, may feel this pull, a quiet temptation to lean in, to hold it all, to become the anchor she needs. It feels noble at first. You think, I can be the one who steadies her. I can be the man who makes it all better. But this is where many men begin to lose themselves, because slowly, without realizing it, your strength stops being about self-respect and becomes about being needed. You trade clarity for closeness. You confuse her dependence for intimacy. And you start to believe that her chaos gives you purpose. That's not love. That's emotional entanglement dressed up as devotion. That a Stoic man does not absorb everything. Hand it to him. He doesn't make himself small just to hold someone else's waves. He listens, yes. He can offer presence. But he does not collapse into her confusion, and he does not try to fix what is not his to fix. That is restraint. That is strength. That you're not a therapist. You're not a rescue mission. And the more you try to be that, the more she loses respect for you. Because in her core, what a woman wants, what she needs to feel attraction, is a man she cannot move. A man who doesn't jump every time her emotions rise. One who can feel compassion without losing control. It's not coldness. It's clarity. It's the deep masculine understanding that your value is not in how much you absorb, but in how steady you remain. Let her see that you don't flinch when the winds pick up, that you're not afraid of silence, that her storm cannot shake the foundations you've built within yourself. There is dignity in that kind of composure. A woman might test it, even unconsciously, but when she finds it, she leans into it, not out of weakness, but out of instinct. Because true polarity is not born from pity. It is born when her chaos meets your calm and respects its limits. Number 3, never chase her validation, let her orbit you. There's a certain moment when a man begins to lose himself, and it's almost invisible. It starts small, a delayed text, a shorter reply, a shift in tone. Suddenly, he's checking his phone more than he should. He's reading her words like they're scripture, searching for signs, clues, anything to tell him that he's still in her good graces. That quiet desperation, it creeps in like smoke under a door. He doesn't realize it, but he's no longer leading. He's reacting. And the moment a man starts seeking validation from a woman, he surrenders something sacred, his center. That a man rooted in himself doesn't need to be reassured. His presence isn't up for negotiation. He's already done the work to know who he is, and that identity doesn't fluctuate based on a woman's warmth or distance. You see it in older men who've seen some years, the ones who carry themselves with a calm you can't fake. They don't rush to explain. They don't fight to be understood. If she walks in, fine. If she walks out, also fine. Not because they're cold, but because they're not hollow. Validation is addictive. It feels good in the moment. A little attention, a little flirtation, and your brain lights up like a pinball machine. But if you're not careful, it becomes your fuel. And when that happens, you're no longer living with direction. You're orbiting her, trying to say the right thing, act the right way, prove yourself. But that's not masculine. That's performance. Let her wonder about you. Let her feel your absence. If she pulls away, don't chase. Let her orbit your gravity, not the other way around. Women don't remember the men who chased them. They remember the ones who didn't flinch, who stayed still, who stood on principle while everyone else begged to be seen. That kind of man leaves an impression without trying. Number 4, stop trying to impress. Start leading. When a man doesn't feel grounded, he starts performing. You'll see it in the way he talks, the way he postures. He brings up his car, his income, the places he's traveled, the business he's building. He thinks he's showing value, but what he's really doing is auditioning. And auditioning is what men do when they haven't yet realized that real power is quiet. The moment you feel the need to impress, you've already given away the frame. You've made her the judge and yourself the applicant. That's not masculine. That's reactive. A man who knows himself doesn't sell. He doesn't need to. He leads, not with flash or noise, but with presence. It's in the way he pauses before he speaks. It's how he looks someone in the eye and actually listens. It's the calm in his tone, the weight in his words, the quiet certainty in his choices. He's not trying to win anyone. He's moving forward, and if someone wants to come with him, they can. But he's not stopping to convince them. That's the difference. Women are drawn to men who carry direction, not decoration. She doesn't care about your resume if your energy feels hollow. She wants to feel something solid, something still. She wants to know that you are not swayed by her beauty or validation, because that tells her you've built something deeper than approval. You've built self-command. You've built purpose. And in a world where most men flinch at silence, the man who can sit in it without reaching for a story or a status signal speaks volumes. So the next time you feel that urge to prove yourself, stop. Feel it. Breathe into it. And remember, you're not here to audition. You're here to lead quietly, steadily, without needing to be seen. Number 5. Don't build fantasies, stay in the moment. You ever notice how quickly your mind starts painting pictures the moment something feels good again? It's like after years of silence or emptiness, one meaningful glance, one long conversation, and your mind takes off running. She laughs at your jokes, touches your arm, looks at you like you matter again. And suddenly, you're not just enjoying her company, you're building a future in your head. You see her beside you at dinner with your friends. You imagine her laughing on a trip with you, maybe curled up next to you on some quiet morning. It feels hopeful. It feels alive. But that hope is built on air if you're not careful. This is where men lose themselves, especially older men who've been through the ache, the divorce, the disappointment. The moment something good enters their lives, they want to secure it, own it, wrap it in narrative. But fantasies are soft lies. They're comforting, yes, but they distort what's really in front of you. You stop seeing her for who she is. You start seeing her for what you want her to be. And that's not connection. That's not love. That's just your loneliness making noise. The Stoic path doesn't chase dreams. It watches. It waits. It accepts what is without needing it to be more. That takes discipline. And it takes maturity. To not let chemistry become captivity. She might be wonderful, but she might also be chaos wrapped in charm. You won't know unless you slow down. Watch how she handles silence. How she reacts when she doesn't get her way. Does her character match her charm? Or is she just good at showing you what you want to see? You don't need to imagine a future to enjoy the present. You just need to be present. That's where truth lives. Not in the fantasy, but in the quiet moments you didn't rush past. You're not here to chase excitement. You've outgrown that. You're here to embody strength, presence, and peace. To show up as the kind of man who doesn't beg to be chosen, because he already walks in alignment with who he is and when. A younger woman feels that kind of energy, calm, still, unfazed. It's unforgettable. So the next time you find yourself pulled towards someone with youthful charm, remember, you are not the man who bends. You are the man who leads. Now take a moment. Reflect on where you've been giving away your power, even in small ways. And if this message hit you where it needed to, if you're ready to build more of this kind of grounded strength, I invite you to subscribe to Stoic 24. This isn't just a channel. It's a reminder that masculinity isn't loud. It's quiet power, and you've had it in you all along.